Hello. Today I'm going to make wine charms. If you're not familiar with what wine charms are, they're little decorative rings that you put around the bottom of a wine glass. And the reason for that is to distinguish whose glass is whose. It's like a fancier, prettier version of a name tag. So you can see that's what a wine charm is. And I have to make about 100 of these for my wedding. The wine charms on the glasses are going to be my favors for the guests. And while I was making these, I realized that there are just a lot of really nice sounds coming from making these wine charms. You have this soft sound of metal, of just the little rings themselves. Crinkling of the plastic that holds all the beads and the wine charms. And then I also thought the sound of just the beads moving around was also really, really nice. So I thought, while I have to make 100 of these anyhow, maybe I'll make that time hopefully relaxing for someone else. So hopefully these sounds will be pleasant to you all as well. And if any of you have an interest in making wine charms, maybe this will help you with that as well. So, I'll get started. The first thing we start with is these little metal rings. You can see it's just a metal ring and it has a little loop at the top. And you can hook and unhook the little metal ring, and that's how you put it around the base of the wine glass or champagne glass. So I have a whole bag of these. You can just hear they make a really light, sort of tinkling sound. Really nice, soft, metallic sound. Maybe not so soft when they hit the plastic, though. Those are the actual charms. I also have a lot of different beads. The first type I have are these cubical, cube-shaped rather, Swarovski crystals. And these are really, really pretty, and they feel really nice. Since they're sort of glassy, they feel cold and nice in my hand. You can see they're really sparkly. And these are an amethyst and sort of a spring green. I think they might have been called sage. And they have aurora borealis refraction to them, which is basically when they shine different colors, just sort of like a rainbow effect. So I like to use those as accent beads a lot. I also have inside this bag different colored green sea glass beads, different shades rather, green sea glass, just spherical beads. You can see all these different shades of green. They're all really pretty. And these also make really nice accent beads. So I'll put these over on that side, and they're rolling all around. I have smaller accent beads as well, and here we have little amethyst beads and pale pink beads that have, again, a sort of sea glassy texture. Those are sort of side detail beads. You can see they're just really teeny tiny. They're pretty. Really pale pink and sort of a rich, almost, hard to describe, but sort of almost a grapey purple, but paler. And here I have some sea glass again, but these ones are pale pink and amethyst purple. And these are similar to the green beads, but different colors, of course. And I use them again as side accent beads. I'm just going to put these in here. And in here you'll see this is my messy mixture of beads, because in reality I never put them away quite right how they came. I get lazy and I mix them all together. The same thing is true of in here, but I can't tilt them too far in that or they will fall out and get scattered everywhere. So I think I'm going to show you my centerpiece beads now. I have a few sort of statement bead types. These ones are these beautiful silver-plated oak leaves. And these feel really nice in my hand, really cold. Cold metal. can see they're just beautifully detailed and really have a nice silvery shine to them. So these are sort of the center beads for some of my wine charms. I'm going to put them off here to the side. The next type are these circular, I think they're enamel, and they have a sort of maybe Japanese or just generally traditional Asian artwork look to them. They have purple plum blossoms on them. They're these just really nice milky white beads with this beautiful purple color blossoms on them. The final type of statement bead that I have are these little purple Swarovski teardrop crystals, and they come packaged in these little, almost a tube sort of shape. It's just a coiled up piece of plastic. So I'm just unwrapping this, and I'll try to unwrap it gently. And these are just really sparkly. I don't know if you can see them very well, but just really sparkly and elegant. Try to show you more clearly. You can see how they catch the light. Just beautiful little teardrop beads. So these aren't quite as maybe unique as the other two types, but they're very, very pretty. And I have some other beads here that I can talk about, but I think I'll just go ahead and get started, and as I use them, I can talk about them. Because we don't need to talk about beads all day. But basically, all of these are going to be based off of the colors green, purple, and pink. My wedding's going to be light green and light purple with some pink accents. And just to give you an example, I have just one finished wine charm off on its own. So when we're done, we'll have a lot of little charms that look basically like that. I don't know how well you can see it, but basically they'll have a main statement bead and different side beads. So basically, even the charms on their own kind of have a nice sound. With all the different little beads together. So I'm going to keep the finished ones in this little crystal candle holder that we don't generally use for much else. Okay, let's get started. In order to put beads on the wine charms, I have to straighten out the little notch at the end. So I just have this little pair of pliers that has sort of, they're actually a little bit warped. And because of that, they have this little gap between them. You probably can't see that, but there's a little tiny gap of space, and it's the perfect size for me to fit this in and pry it straight so I can slip beads on. But if you wanted to make wine charms and you didn't have that, just get some pliers and set them to the width and try to keep them of the width of this metal ring. First, I'm going to use this sort of pinkish purple bead, really pretty soft color, like a pale, I think, orchid. I've heard it called orchid, this color. So I'm just going to put one of those on. And I think next, I think I'll have this be a purple themed wine charm. So next I'm going to put on this little amethyst Swarovski cube bead. And then I think I'll use one more opaque purple bead of some sort. So I think I'm just going to use another one of these sort of soft orchid colors. If I can get it. So let's see right now. I'm just creating a symmetrical structure, basically. I'm going to use one of these pretty teardrops. Drop it first. And there you can see. You have one little orchid bead, followed by a cube bead, another orchid bead. So, to finish that off, we're just going to repeat the exact same thing on the other side of the statement bead. An orchid color, a little amethyst bead, and a little orchid color. And then I just slip this in here, and I create the little notch again, just bend the metal, and then it slips right into the little loop at the top. There we have a finished wine charm. Very pinkish, purpley one. So I think that's definitely going to be for woman's cup. So let's make one a little bit less feminine for our next one. Again, I'm just straightening out the little line here. And I'm going to make this one green. All green. I love the all green ones. So I didn't show before these, but there's these little tiny, beautiful sort of spring green stone beads. And they're just small, nice accent beads. So I'm putting one of those on. And then I think next I'll use one of these little sea glass beads. And this one is also sort of a spring green, but it's slightly darker. So then I think I'm going to use one of those little oak leaves, if you can see it. I'm just going to slip the oak leaf on. And then, as always, I just put symmetrical beads on the other side of it. So now we have this beautiful, earthy looking, woodsy little wine charm. You can see just sort of clear, springy, fresh looking. So I'm going to put that one in here as well. You can see they're starting to gather up a little bit, which is nice. Three down, only like 97 to go. So this time I'm going to use the only type of statement bead we haven't yet used. That is the purple plum blossoms. Of course, real plum blossoms aren't purple, but these ones are. And I find these purple plum blossom beads really beautiful. I think they're gorgeous, but they're quite a bit bigger than all the other beads I have. So I feel like it creates a really dramatic difference. But I'm going to try my best to get around that. What I'm looking at right now are these amethyst stone beads. And they have they all look different. They all have natural differences from the amethyst in them. And so I have to find two that are of similar color and shade so that they don't look really strange and different. They also have sort of tinier holes, and so some of them don't fit on the wine charms quite as nicely all the time. Some of the holes were drilled really tiny for them. So if I found those, and I think on the side of these I'm going to use, I think I'll use green. Yep, I like that. So first I'm going to put a green Aurora Borealis cube bead, followed by, if it fits, and it does, an amethyst stone, circular amethyst stone. And then I'm going to put on my statement bead. You can see it's pretty, but it's just such a dramatic difference. They really stand out. They're not quite as cohesive and matching, but that's okay. They still look pretty. And the other amethyst bead fit nicely on. So I follow it up with the green Aurora Borealis cube. So there we go. One more finished. And it's fun and easy to make these because when you just amass enough different beads, you don't have to worry too much about the design of them because unless you're really trying to, you can easily make so many different ones before you would replicate a design. So this is what this one looks like. Sorry, I know my camera's very dark. In with the rest. Okay, let's keep on going. So, now I'm going to use these tiny little pink sea glassy beads. Really little. It's going to be the end statement bead. And I think I'm going to follow it up with a purple amethyst colored sea glass bead. And after that, I'm going to use a sort of honeydew colored green sea glass bead. And I'm going to use an oak leaf for this one. The oak leaves just have a really nice sort of delicate look to them. So you can put a lot more on the sides, as much or as little as you like. So I put another honeydew bead on there, and that's actually closer to a mint maybe, which I don't like quite as much because I like greens that have a bit of warmth and yellow to them instead of being too bluish, but it's still a pretty color and I do need to use it. So maybe you can see. Have pale pink, amethyst, and a pretty bright green, which looks very dramatic and funny on camera. But in real life, it won't look so dramatic. It'll have a glass as a background, and so those other colors will pop as well. Okay, so let's make another charm using those little teardrops. So this time I think I'm just going to make them one that's very just sparkly, all around sparkly. So I have these tiny little beads that I didn't show before. They're, I don't know how to describe the shape, but just very faceted. And they're supposed to be lavender colored, but they're almost blue. At least in this light they look very blue, but in some lights they look very purple. So hopefully on the day of the wedding they'll be looking quite purple. But I'm going to use these Swarovski Aurora Borealis crystals. I'm going to be using a green one first. I don't want to put a periwinkle bluish right next to a purple because then it will highlight how non-purple it is. So I put on the sage green followed by an amethyst color, and then we have the pale purple teardrop. I don't know if you can see, super sparkly. There you go. These make such a nice sound next to each other. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it or not, but just really soft sound of the beads. You can see how much they pick up the light. Super sparkly. Unfortunately, my camera doesn't autofocus on anything, so I know anything I put up close to it's probably going to be really blurry. But hopefully you get the idea. So, we have our nice little pile of wine charms. They sound really nice in there. They sound like progress. So, I think I'll make one more with the purple plum beads and as a center, and then I think that'll be enough for showing you all. And I think maybe I'll just play with the beads a little bit so you guys get to hear how nice they sound. I think I'll use these little green stone beads for this. Little green stone bead. Let's see how this looks together. Looks quite nice. So I did a pale spring green bead, sort of leafy, grassy green bead. Then one of the plum beads. And then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. Grass green. And springy green. So there you have that. Again, maybe you can't see that at all, but you'll just have to trust me, it looks nice. Okay. So I think I'll create incorporate a short break from making those and just let you guys hear the different sounds that I get to hear when I make